A lot of us, we want to be able to see results. If we do something or buy something, we want to look at it or
You
be
want the
able
tangibles.
that we want the tangibles. And when we talk about life insurance, sometimes it's not always what you can put in your hand and use right away. I mean, depending on what kind of policy you get. But when you're trying to talk to families and individuals about why they need this, they don't really understand right away.
Well, let's dispel some myths, right?
Okay.
So first of all, life insurance is not a bad thing, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great thing.
Yes.
It's the easiest way to leave a legacy of generational wealth. It's the easiest way to build wealth. But most people think of it as a, ooh, life insurance. Don't talk
Yeah.
to me about life insurance.
What are the benefits of a trust? And is when you say get the money from the trust, does that make it tax free?
It's life insurance is tax free. Life insurance is tax free. The death benefit is tax free. Your cash value is tax free. Absolutely.
Wow.
See, you need to know that insurance is tax free, tax advantage. Why? Because you've already paid the taxes.
Hey guys, I am Matasha LaQuinn, the Queen Bee of Real Estate, and you are tuned in to The Throne. And let's talk about how blessed I am today to have my beautiful guest sitting next to me, Miss Toni Sanders, and I cannot wait for her to share everything that she has in store. She is a licensed financial professional. Listen, she can talk about all kind of stuff. Wealth building, estate planning, retirement planning, financial planning. But today we're going to be focused a little bit on proper coverage, insurances, the different types of insurance. How much coverage do you need? Who to reach out to get you started with those things. And the crazy part about it is that life insurance encompasses a whole world of things. It falls into the financial planning bubble, and it just so happens to be Financial Planning Month. I did not know that October was considered Financial Planning Month. So, Miss Toni, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. So I'll tell you one thing that we definitely missed out on Life Insurance Awareness Month, which is September every single year. But no worries. A huge part of Financial Planning Month, which is in October, has to do with life insurance. So it's perfect timing.
Perfect. Well, before we get started getting to the meat and potatoes, how about you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you ended up transitioning over into this industry and why did you choose financial services?
So who grows up and says they want to be an insurance agent? Not I. So nobody grows up and talks about that, right? So, my background is I'm a former hairstylist. I owned and operated 2 salons, a day spa, and a boutique for 20 years.
Wow.
Now I know, look, y'all see this gray hair. It's here for a reason, right? But, I absolutely love doing hair and I made a lot of money. But, Matasha, I didn't understand money.
A lot of us don't. Most of us don't.
I did not understand the money that I was making. And so I knew that I needed to learn. It was time for me to send my daughter to college and I couldn't write the check.
Wow.
And I was like, oh no, this is crazy. I've driven the best cars, lived in nice houses, had the clothes, the bags, ladies. But I didn't have a check. I didn't have the money to send my daughter to college.
And that's when it got real.
It got real with me. And so I said, look, I need to change this thing around. And so I was introduced to an organization that really was all about the education, right?
Okay.
How can I educate myself to be my own money manager? How can I educate myself to really make better financial decisions? I believe that we're highly educated, we're professionally successful, but unfortunately, we're financially illiterate.
Pow. Shots fired. Miss Toni brought bullets this morning.
Yes,
Shoot us
yes.
with.
But
You're
you know
right.
what? I'm going to kill you, but I'm going to give you some nuggets too, right? I'm
I'll
going to give
take
you
the
some
nuggets.
gems and I'm going to give you some nuggets. But, that was my story. And for me, I'm a little black girl from Akron, Ohio. I was born to a mother who had 4 kids by the age of 25. You
Wow.
think she was talking about money at the dinner table?
Nope, trying to do the best that she could
She
to
was
raise
doing
you
the
guys.
best that she could, trying to keep food on the table, a roof over our head, clothes on our back.
Yeah.
But as I became an adult, I knew that I wanted to change the narrative, I always tell people it only takes one person in every family. That's it. That's all it
To
takes.
be the game changer.
To be the game changer.
Being that person is kind of heavy sometimes.
Yes.
I find myself being that person and it's a little heavy, but it's rewarding.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's funny that you say that because that crown is heavy, but I don't think that there's no other better person to do it.
Come on.
It only takes one, and I know I'm the one.
Come on. the one. I love the confidence. And then when you know that you're the one, that's your momentum on the days when you don't feel like it or
Absolutely.
you don't want to.
Well, see, that's your why.
Mm-hmm.
And we always say this, your why must make you cry. See, if your why makes you cry, there is no bad days. You know, you just get up and you do it, and you make whatever happen that has to happen.
That's right.
That's it. So that's literally how I got into the industry. You know, I retired from the salon industry. I sold the salon, and I started doing financial services full time. Well, I started on a
Wow.
part-time basis. So
Okay.
I will say that as I was still building and learning the business, I did work on a part-time basis, but then I fell in love. I fell in love with the idea that I could be the game changer in my community. I
Love
fell
it.
in love with the idea that I could be the game changer in the community and beyond.
And let's talk about how difficult that is to, be a part or have a career for 20 years doing one thing and to make that transition into something totally different. That's scary in itself.
But you know what? When you have a passion for something, it don't feel like work.
So how did you discover that you were passionate about this?
You know, when I saw that I was passionate about it, how it made feel, how people reacted to the information.
Okay.
You know, because the resources weren't available to our parents and our grandparents. But, just think about when you can help someone and you help them buy the biggest purchase that they'll make in their lives. How do they feel when they buy that home?
Right.
They feel so good. It's so beautiful. Oh my God, this is my dream home. And so the opposite is for me, like, oh my God, this is my financial house and it looks so good to me. I'm going to be able to retire with dignity and leave a legacy of generational wealth.
I love it.
That's how it
Okay.
makes you feel.
Amazing. And so you started off on the, I guess, cosmetic beauty side of things, and then you transitioned over into helping people get their financial house in order. What was that learning process like? How quickly were you able to adapt and navigate your way through this new
Well, I was
world?
all in. See, when you come from nothing and you don't want to go back there, you got to put all toes in. I had to be all in, right?
Okay.
And so for me, I just knew that I had to be the biggest benefactor first. I can't teach somebody else without knowing what to do. I can't tell you what to do if I haven't done it, right?
Right.
And so when I made that decision that I was all in, it was just like, it just took over. I woke up thinking about it. I went to bed thinking about it. I would
Wow.
wake up in the middle of the night thinking about it. And then I would say, you know what? I'm going to change somebody's life today.
Come on, changing lives.
I'm going to change somebody's life today.
I love it. And so, speaking of changing lives, let's get into that a little bit. Let's talk about, because I think the part is that a lot of us, we want to be able to see results. If we do something or buy something, we want to look at it or
You
be
want
able
the tangibles.
that we want the tangibles. And when we talk about life insurance, sometimes it's not always what you can put in your hand and use right away. I mean, depending on what kind of policy you get. But when you're trying to talk to families and individuals about why they need this, they don't really understand right away.
Well, let's dispel some myths, right?
Okay.
So first of all, life insurance is not a bad thing, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great thing.
Yes.
It's the easiest way to leave a legacy of generational wealth. It's the easiest way to build wealth. But most people think of it as life insurance. Don't talk
Yeah.
to me about life insurance.
Because it reminds them of death, maybe?
Okay, but it's no longer our grandmother's insurance. Life insurance has evolved. Let's talk about the evolution of life insurance, right?
Yes.
So I want you guys to use the analogy almost like a cell phone. You have a smartphone?
I sure do.
Can I take your smartphone and give you a flip phone?
No, you can't.
Why?
Because that's just not where we are with the times. And the technology has evolved so much. Why would I go back to a
So,
flip phone?
so the same thing with financial products
Mhm.
and in life insurance. So let's talk about the evolution. So first
Okay.
started off with term. Term is temporary insurance, you guys. The cost is low, but guess what? It's temporary. It's almost like renting a house.
So it has, when they say term, it has a expiration or a
And it
term
has an
date.
absolutely.
So does term stand for terminate, like a termination
You
date?
can use terminate, but it's temporary.
I don't like that. Okay.
Okay. That could be 5, 10, 15, 20, or 30 years.
And so
Okay.
some people have term policies and don't realize that after a certain amount of time, that policy expires and they have to start over with a new one.
Absolutely. But the problem with that is so I always tell people, let's say this first.
Mm-hmm.
Always do what's affordable and suitable.
Okay.
And what's suitable and affordable. Term is good for some people. Other
Okay.
people is not good for. You have to know. And that's why I said the education is so important. Because if you're not equipped to make those decisions, somebody else is going to make those decisions on your behalf.
Right.
So when I talk about term, okay, it's temporary. There's no equity built into it. So unless you have a return of premium or something like that, then you're not going to get any money back. The insurance companies know that the likelihood of you dying within that term is very slim to none. So where does that money go? It goes to the insurance companies.
With nothing to gain from
And so
it.
you don't have anything in return, right?
Right.
So now the second generation or the first generation of permanent life insurance is
Mhm.
whole life. Now, most people know about, temporary or term insurance and whole life insurance.
Mhm.
Whole life, it means exactly what it says. You're going to pay your whole life until age 100, until the day you die.
Okay.
So there are some things in there you can do, 20 pay or 10 pay, but the cost of the premium is more costly, depending on cost of insurance is sold by how old are you? How's your health?
Mhm.
How tall are you? How much do you weigh?
How tall? That really has something to do with
Oh, yeah, the build. Oh, you could be too little. You could be too big.
Wow.
Yes, they have a chart. And so that's why we have to take care of ourselves. Your health is your wealth. You don't want to have to pay more than you have to.
And I just ate 2 donuts last night.
Oh, stop it. Were they good?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was worth it.
They were worth it, right? And so when you're thinking about whole life insurance, you have to think about, yes, it does have cash value. However, it's very rigid.
Mm-hmm.
There's specific rules that people don't understand. And I say, shame on some of the agents who don't educate their clients.
Do you think they don't educate them because they don't know themselves?
I didn't say it. You said it.
Okay.
Okay.
I said it. Sure did.
So you have to be an educated, agent, but I want the
Mhm.
consumer to be educated. And that's why our national campaign for financial literacy is so important. So people can make better financial decisions, become your own money managers. Now, you can get some cash value, you can build, because the whole talk right now on social media, everybody's talking about cash value, right? But make sure you understand how it works. The whole life policy, you're going to get about 3 to 6, maybe 2 to 4% interest, maybe a little bit more, depending on how the market is doing.
Mhm.
But then let's go to the second generation of permanent life insurance. You're talking about universal life.
Universal. Let's talk about that because I had one of those policies,
Mhm.
but I had the wrong agent that signed me up for it. We'll talk about my experience later, but tell me about universal life. What are the benefits?
Universal life is a little bit more flexible. It's
Mhm.
not as rigid as whole life. You get more cash value. The interest on there is about 3 to 6%. You have to be able to outpace taxes and inflation. So first of all, you have to know what's going on in the world around us. See, this time last year, we were looking at about 9%, inflation. Today, it's about 6% inflation. In order for your money to grow, you have to be able to outpace taxes and inflation, right?
Got it.
So the next generation is going to be variable, universal life. Most people don't know that there's so many different types of life insurance policies, and you have to know what you're purchasing.
Right.
A variable is going to give you a separate account, but you know what? People want their money to grow. But when that market crashed back in 2003, they weren't so happy because their money was tied into the market.
Right. So the universal policy that's the policy where you can benefit and pull from it while you're still alive.
So I'm not even done.
My bad.
Okay.
Let me be quiet.
So watch this. I've gone through term, whole life, universal life, VUL or variable universal life. But today, guess what? There's something called IUL. I know you guys have heard of it.
That's the one that I had. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's called Index Universal Life. Now, I'm not here to sell you insurance. I'm here to educate you so that you can make a better financial decision. Let me tell you something. That IUL, it's a beast.
Mhm.
If you understand it, right? So you think about this. It has a lot of benefits. It's like a hybrid product. It's a hybrid product. You can get growth. You can get safety. It's tax advantage. And guess what? It's tax-free. And it gives you all the protection that you need for your family.
Nice.
But if your listeners don't take anything away, please always do what's affordable and suitable. Sit down and speak with an educated financial professional who knows the difference between the different types and what's going to do what's best for you as the client instead of what's best for them.
Right. And I think that is where I ran into the problem is that I feel like I had an agent that was doing what was best for them and maybe the commission that was tied to the type and the amount of policy that they were selling me.
Mm-hmm.
And I really didn't understand it. And so I had sunk a lot of money in thinking I was kind of promised that, hey, after a certain amount of time, you'll be able to pull money out of this policy. And that was important to me because I was looking for a way to get a hold of some assets and liquid assets so I could invest in real estate.
Sure.
So I was thinking, oh, well, let me get this $1 million policy, this index policy, because after a certain amount of time, it'll grow. And while I'm still living, I can tap into it and pull money from it to invest in real estate.
So let me ask you a question. If it was just that easy, don't you think everybody would be doing
And
it?
thank you. And the fact that I should know better and I knew better and I did it anyway, I'm just like, okay, come on. And so,
But I will say this. That's part of the concept, right?
yeah,
But maybe they left some parts out.
just a few important bullet points.
So yeah, the Index Universal Life, it does work like that. However, you have to be dumping money into it. Two
Mhm.
words that I want you to understand. Overfund,
Okay.
meaning that you're going to pay more than the premium. See, a lot of people think that they're borrowing against the death benefit. You're borrowing against the cash surrender value. Okay.
What is cash surrender value?
So let's talk about it. As you pay a premium, a percentage of that is going towards your cost of insurance because know what? We're all
Okay.
going to die, right?
Mhm.
And that will cover your death benefit.
Okay.
Now you're saying, okay, Tony, I want to put some money into this policy so that money can grow, compounding, because that's why people like the Index Universal Life policies. There's a cash value, but how does that cash value grow? Well, it has to have interest. Some of the policies will give you up to 13%. Some of them are uncapped. But the great news is it has a floor. Some with a 0 floor, some may be a 0.75% floor. That
Mhm.
means even when the market goes down, you will never lose any money.
Right, because it can't go
Absolutely.
lower than the floor.
So think about it. Look, we want to save money. Do you want to save the least amount of money or do you want to save the most?
Oh,
So you want to put it in a place where you can compound over time and get some compound interest.
got it.
So I always tell people this. There's 3 places where you can put money.
Mm-hmm.
You can put it in a bank. It's safe. You have access to it. But guess what? You're not going to grow.
Speaking of that, I think I saw a deposit from my bank of like 23 cents
Mhm.
that they were giving me from the savings account. I was like, 23 cents.
Absolutely.
Anyways, continue.
But watch this. You can also put it in investments. People always want to invest.
Mhm.
Oh, I want to invest. I want to invest. Okay, you can invest, but you got to know what you're doing because you can
Right.
lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
So the investments will give you the gains, right? You will grow, but you take on all the risk. So when that market is down, I tell people it's almost like a gamble. Do you like to gamble?
Oh,
Okay. So for those of you who don't like to gamble, then you definitely want to know what you're doing. And remember this, past performance does not equal future results. People think because, oh, she did great, she did this, and everybody's onto the crypto and all this other Bitcoin and stuff. Okay, those things are very volatile. You have to know your risk tolerance. Are you moderate? Are you just low to moderate? Or maybe you're, hey, I'm risky. I'm taking all the risk. You have to know where you stand and how long do you have to even play in the market? Because time plays a big part. Let me kind of go back before I go to the last one.
okay.
So people need to understand there's something called the wealth formula.
Okay.
The wealth formula is money plus time, a good rate of return minus inflation and taxes. I can tell you something that's never going to go away is we're all going to die and you're always going to pay taxes.
That's kind of depressing.
It's called the silent killer. You know, that's why I tell people we're all related. You know who your uncle is? Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam Jenkins.
We all have the same uncle, right?
Right.
So you have to think about, okay, the wealth formula. If I have that formula, and then let's go to another formula. I love concepts, you guys. You have to learn these financial concepts. The rule of 72. The rule of 72 is a mathematical formula
Okay.
that shows you how long it's going to take for money to double, how your money works. You take the number 72, you divide it by the interest rate, and the answer will tell you how long it takes for your money to double.
Wow.
But Tasha, if I gave you $10,000 today, your money will not double for more than 72 years if you had 1%. The banks are not giving 1%, ladies and gentlemen. The banks is a great place for you, to store your liquidity, to have your
Mhm.
emergency fund,
Mm-hmm.
but nobody has ever built wealth in a bank. So you have to find a place where your money can double multiple times in your lifetime.
But when people think about money doubling and growing, they typically don't look at the insurance bucket for that.
That's right. So that's that last bucket, right? So if we're in an industry that's $109 trillion made of banks, investment companies, and insurance companies, the insurance companies are the only ones that will give you growth, safety, the protection, and its tax advantage. Why don't we use banks like, you know who puts the most money in banks?
Oh,
I mean, in insurance, I gave it away, banks. They put the most money there. But a lot of times we, as consumers, we're not educated. So we think everything's a scam.
that is true. Don't know who to trust.
Absolutely.
Everybody's out to get us. And you only hurt yourself in the long run. I know when we were talking on the phone the other day, some families will say, well, I'll let you know if I need it, or I'll get back to you about that. And it's like, well, you're not doing me a favor.
I'm doing you a favor. Yeah, absolutely. I tell people, look, when I leave your house, if anything happened to me, my family gonna live better than they ever lived before. But I would hate to have your family call me and tell me you passed away, and they know you had a conversation with me and you never put anything in place.
Right.
You're gonna need me at some point in time. I don't care if you don't ever use your car insurance. You may never use your homeowner's insurance. You may never use your health insurance. But I can guarantee you're going to use your life insurance.
Just don't know when, but you're going to use it.
Right.
And let me ask you this. Do you think it's a part of us maybe being selfish and not realizing it, to say, okay, well, I don't need it because, this particular policy isn't going to benefit me right now, and I'll just let my family deal with it however they deal with it when I pass away?
That's selfish and that's unfortunate. And if anybody is listening, if you love your family, please get some life insurance, all right? So life insurance has definitely changed. Again, it goes back to that evolution. Now, life insurance has living benefits. You can use it while you're living, not just to supplement your income, not just to, build wealth. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen, if you become critical, chronic, or terminally ill, where are you going to get the money from? Do you have $200,000, $500,000 sitting to the side in case something happens to you? Do you know that 70% of seniors will need some form of long-term care? But guess what? That number, Natasha, is 48% between the ages of 18 and 65, because young people get sick too.
Right.
Life insurance has too many benefits today. You can get long-term care attached to them, many, many benefits. You can use it as asset or collateral when maybe you want to buy a business. Maybe you want to buy some commercial real estate. Oh, there's so many strategies, honey, that life insurance can do. But the unfortunate thing is that we look at life insurance as a bad thing. It's like almost like it's a bad word.
Yeah.
Can we change the name? Can we change it?
What you want to call it?
Let's call it something with the queen bee in it. I don't know. Because I don't care what they call it. They can call it peanut butter.
And jelly.
And jelly. Let's call it.
Call it whatever you need to call it to make sure you know how important it is that you get you some. And I think, talk to me more about the living benefit portion, or the critical, or the illness that you mentioned, and being able to pull from that while they're living.
That is really, really huge, because you think about it. Most people don't have a fund set aside just in case of a health challenge.
Right.
And again, it's just not for older people. It's for younger people too. I say this all the time, is that, look, life insurance is in case you die too soon. But what if you live too long? But what if you half dead and half alive?
Oh, you're making me think today.
That's what it is. I'm here to disrupt and disturb. We have to have more conversations like this to make you think, like, life happens, right? I heard somebody say life is lifing, right? Hard, right? So these are the things that we have to have in place. And I say that because I'd rather for someone to pay a little bit money now than your family try to figure out how they're going to take care of you later. Right. Especially when most people don't even have $1,000 saved in an emergency fund.
Jeez. And so about that, though, let's just say we've crossed the bridge and they understand why some type of coverage is important. The next step is really trying to figure out, okay, how much is enough?
I love that. So there's a formula. Actually, there's two.
There's a formula for everything.
Yes, absolutely. So it's actually called the DIME, and you can Google it, right? Okay. It's DIME, just like the dime. Debt, The D stands for debt. How much debt do you have? Let's put it in the pot. Your
Okay.
income. If you don't learn anything else, protect your income. If you lose your income, what happens? Everything is gone.
Right.
So your income times 10 years. Within 10 years, your family should be okay. And then guess what? You have to have a mortgage. So you sold them this beautiful house. They want to leave it as a legacy, but you don't even want to protect your investment.
Mhm.
If something happens to you prematurely, put the balance of the mortgage inside the life insurance policy, the amount, so that if something happens prematurely, guess what? The house
is
can be
paid
paid
off.
off. But guess what? Not even that. Remember the living benefits? See, it's not always about if we die, because we're going to live. But what if you have a heart attack, stroke, or cancer and you can't go to work? The bank don't care. The mortgage company don't care. The lender don't care. They want their money. So now you can tap into your death benefit.
Okay, to pay the mortgage.
Hello.
Portion. Okay, so DIME stands for the debt, the income, mortgage.
And guess what? The last one is education. See, we send our kids to school to get that higher education. But just like a lot of us who went to college and you're still paying on those student loan debts, can we change the narrative? Can we leave some money to the next generation so they don't have to keep starting over? See, college debt has surpassed automobile and credit debt. There's a lot of resources out there for college, but think about it. A lot of people leave enough money for those things. Take care of all the debt. Here's some 10 years of the income. My mortgage, pay it off so my family can always have a family home. And then education. I don't want to send my kids to school so that they can finish college with a lot of debt, and debt becomes a way of life.
Yeah, and they're starting off behind.
They're already behind.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's an easy formula, the 10-20 rule. It's just 10 times your salary is enough for protection. 20 times your salary is enough for retirement. That's just a whole nother beast. But because it's Financial Planning Month, did you know that most people will not be able to retire?
I did not know.
They're not saving any money.
And I had a conversation not too long ago, and we were talking about how, back in the day, people were staying at their jobs for 30 years, at the railroad, or 20 years at the city and collecting pension. And that's just not happening.
It's like 5 to 7 years now, if that. So you think about it, when the pandemic happened, there was something that was called the Great Resignation. People are sick and tired of being sick and tired. They walked away from their jobs. They started a business, right?
Yeah.
They want freedom. They want flexibility. They want purpose and a lifestyle, because life is just too short just to keep working for a living. See, let me tell you what happens. See, this is my lane here. I can go here all day.
Let's talk about this.
Let's talk about this, ladies and gentlemen. Most people trade time for money. Either you have the money and you don't have the time, or you got a lot of time and you don't have a lot of money.
Ain't got no money.
Yep. So what I need people to understand is, look, there's nothing wrong with going to work, but you can't work and live paycheck to paycheck. So people work these jobs. The job takes up all their time, and they give them a little bit of money.
Yeah.
We have to find a way that we can turn this thing around.
I'm so glad you're here today. This is
Awesome.
everything that we all need to hear, and to really start changing our perspective and the way we think about
mindset.
it. Mm-hmm.
The mindset.
The mindset. I think that has a lot to do with it. And when our mindset shifts, we can begin to make the right decisions and hook up with the right professionals to get us going.
Yeah. And I'll tell you this, when you're dealing with any profession, real estate professional, right? Financial professional, people don't care about how much we know. They just want to know that we care.
That's true.
So you have to make sure, if it's not me, make sure you get with someone who is knowledgeable, someone who cares about you, who is concerned about your future, but not only your future, your children, your grandchildren's. I said, I'm leaving a legacy of generational wealth.
And it starts with you, right? And that's the thing we have to remember. Like you hold almost this magic ball or this 8-ball of the future in your hand, and you get to look and say, what does the next generation of my family look like? And it starts with me.
Right. I want us to be like the Rockefellers. Can we create some trust? I can show you how to create a trust, get some life insurance. Everybody get life insurance. We're going to put it in the name of the trust. And guess what? There you go. When people pass away, because remember what I said, we all going to die. So now when everybody passes away, that money is in the trust. You need money? Oh, good. We can get it out of the trust.
Tell me, so I'm not sure if this is your lane or not, but maybe you can help us. What are the benefits of a trust? And when you say get the money from the trust, does that make it tax-free?
It's life insurance is tax-free. Life insurance is tax-free. The death benefit is tax-free. Your cash value is tax-free. Absolutely.
Wow.
See, you need to know that insurance is tax-free, tax advantage. Why? Because you've already paid the taxes. Before I go there, and we'll
Okay.
talk about a trust, because
Okay.
estate planning is very, very important.
Okay.
Since the pandemic, estate planning has went up about 18%.
Mm.
You remember when the pandemic happened, people were, we were dropping like flies, right?
And unprepared.
Unprepared. I call it ill-prepared, but y'all was waiting on that stimulus check. But y'all was going to the mall buying Gucci bags and Louis Vuitton. Let me tell you, we got to change that.
Yeah.
It's a mindset, a shift that you have, right?
Mhm.
So there's 3 places where you can put money. You can put money in tax now, tax later, or tax advantage.
Okay.
Tax now is going to be your checking, savings, CDs, stocks, and mutual funds. But
Okay.
you're going to be taxed as capital gains tax. And then there is tax later. It's just like student loans. You don't have to pay them now, but you do have to pay them later.
Okay.
That's going to be your 401k, your 403b, your 457, your IRA, your annuities, and your pensions.
Got it.
Now, you don't own all the money. Why? Because you share it with 4 pots. You share it with the market, because the market is going to go up and it's going to go down. Would you agree?
Agree.
Number 2, you share it with fees. Nobody manages your money for free.
Mm.
Number 3, inflation. The money that you're saving today is not going to have the same purchasing power later. I used to buy chicken. My husband loves chicken wings, you guys.
Oh, I'm hungry.
Yes. Let me tell you something. Chicken wings prior to the pandemic was like $5. Now they're about $10, $12 a pack.
Yes.
And if you go to HEB, you can
HEB.
only get 2 packs. Okay.
That I can co-sign for that. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. But guess what? But the last bucket is Uncle Sam. You told Uncle Sam when you put that money in that bucket, oh, I don't have to pay taxes now. Great. But when you pull that money out, that's when you're going to have to pay taxes.
Mhm.
But you don't know how much taxes you're going to have to pay. Now I'm going to flip the script, because I know I'm what a beast of a real estate professional, right? But Tasha, would you think that anybody would ever buy a home from you if you said, no, buy this home. This is your dream home.
Mhm.
You don't have to pay the interest now. You can pay the interest later.
Of course.
They would do that?
I think that they would, because they don't know any better. They think that it sounds
But
good.
but would you want them to do that?
Of course not.
So the answer is no, because guess what? That's the same thing we do when we put our money in those buckets. We don't know what the interest is going to be. And so we're saying, okay, whatever that interest, what if it's 50%?
Right. You don't know what it's going to be at that time, but you're already agreeing to something. It's
That you don't know.
uncertainty.
It's
Yeah.
uncertainty in the
Right.
market, right?
Right. And so, yeah, as a professional, I wouldn't want them to do that. But as an uneducated consumer that doesn't know any better, they may think that that's the best route to go.
Well, that's why we have to educate the masses.
Mhm.
And that's why our program to educate 30 million families by the year of 2030 is so important. But let's get to the last bucket, because it's my
Yes.
favorite. It's what the wealthy people do. They put their money in tax advantage vehicles.
Mhm.
That's your Roth IRA. That's your municipal bonds, your health savings accounts,
Okay.
long-term care, life insurance. But again, it goes back. Life insurance. Yes. Peanut butter and jelly.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Yes. Call it what you want to call it.
Yes.
But you want to have it in your portfolio.
Okay. I love this. And so I think if a lot of people are sitting there and thinking, oh man, this sounds great, but I'm already living paycheck to paycheck. I make enough just to pay my bills. What is a policy going to cost me? Like just a starter policy, or a policy just to cover the dime formula that we talked about?
Great question. So there's a lot of solutions out there.
Okay.
I want to build your financial house. First of all, you have to have proper protection.
Okay.
Debt management, the emergency fund, and then the investments. I always recommend that we do a personal financial strategy first and foremost. Let me
Okay.
see where you are, where the holes and gaps are in your plan.
Mhm.
Maybe we can reposition some money. Maybe you don't need that cable TV. Maybe you don't need to go to happy hour every night. Maybe you don't need to
I'm gonna drink
go,
some water.
okay, go shopping every weekend. But you have to be willing to sacrifice. Are you willing to sacrifice today so that you can do what most people will not be able to do in their future?
And that is the hard part.
Mhm.
Most of us, we want it right now. We want benefits now, and we don't want to worry about later.
Well, we have to.
Have to.
Yeah, especially when you have children, when you
Mhm.
are the person who is financially responsible for the household.
Right.
I tell you, create a budget. Let's create a budget together. A budget is not restrictive. We're just going to give your dollars an assignment.
How many people, well, I know this is kind of just random and you may not know an exact statistic, but how many people do you think actually create their budgets and follow it?
You know what? Not enough. I will
Yeah.
say this coming up, I believe that 2023 is already over. 2024, you should start planning now, right? The year is over.
Right.
We have what, two months and 2 weeks and 2 months
Yeah.
left.
I can't believe how fast
it
this
went by
went.
so fast.
Yeah.
But January, everybody's always making financial resolutions. I want to
Mhm.
save more money. I want to
Mhm.
lose weight. I want to do this. I want to do that. But they don't have the solutions. See, you have the financial problems, but we have the solutions. Mhm.
And then, well, they created in January, and by March or April, they've fallen off the
Buying all the gifts,
bandwagon.
overspending on your credit cards. I say this again. Sit down with a financial professional, have the conversation, be as transparent as you possibly can be,
Mhm.
and get a coach. Get someone to help you and mentor you and coach you. Take free workshops. You want to learn? I have many, many tools that will help you change your life, right? Because you can't make a decision what somebody told you at the water cooler at work.
Mhm.
You can't make a decision what uncle and auntie told you that worked for them 20, 30 years ago,
It's
right?
not the same.
It's not the same.
And that's a key indicator on how serious you are as well. When you're willing to seek out the resources, find a coach, access the free workshops, attend the classes, that's your level of seriousness. And like you said earlier, Tony, it's not about us. This is for you.
Absolutely. It's
You
for you
have
and
to
your
want
family.
it. Mhm.
And another big thing is, look, parents, how you can teach, you can't teach your kids something you don't know. We have to stop depending on our school systems, even at the collegiate level, to teach our children.
More shots.
Yes. You have to learn first, and then we teach us.
Right.
You have to be able to teach your children that. But there's a lot of things that can be done, but we just meet you where you are. I just want to see where you are, and let me help you fill in the holes and the gaps. So that brings me to what you asked me prior to, your trust. Okay, estate planning. Disclosure, no, I'm not an estate planning attorney, but I work with a group of attorneys. Everybody needs a trust, whether that's going to be a revocable living trust or maybe it's going to be a revocable trust, right? We'll sit down with you and explain the difference. A will is good, but it will not keep you out of probate court. You still have to go to probate court. That can cost you anywhere from 5 to 15% assets over the total assets. You have to get a lawyer. You have to pay court costs. All of those things you have to do. If you're a homeowner, please get a trust. I've seen too many parents leave homes and things to their children, and the kids have no idea. They don't know what to do.
Don't know what to do. So when you leave it, when you leave it in a trust, what happens?
Okay, so let's talk about what that trust is. I want you to look at this almost like a box. I'm going to call it the love box. And all the things that we've worked so hard for over our lifetime,
Put in the box.
we're going to put it in a box. And
Okay.
the name of it is going to be whatever Queen Bee's Trust. And Queen Bee's Trust, she's going to put her house. She's going to put all of her worldly assets. She's going to name, the beneficiary. She's got to have an executor of the estate. Who's going to let everybody know, that, Queen has passed on, right? And so now we have somebody over this trust and we can name, and this is her last wishes. This is what she said. That's going to happen. The great thing I like about a revocable trust is, guess what? While you're still living, Queen, you're still in control.
Nice. So the person that is overseeing the trust, do you appoint them? Is it court
Yes.
appointed?
No,
Okay.
I need to. I know who. Everybody knows in their family who is the person who is.
Right.
Nah, don't put them over the money.
Please
don't. So no, you get to make those decisions, and guess what? You also get to change them in your lifetime.
What happens if the person you named to oversee your trust passes before?
That's why you're going to have a secondary as
second.
well. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
So if you're interested in a trust, you want to learn more, guess what? We'll give you a complimentary with an estate planning attorney, not me, but with an estate planning attorney. I'll welcome your guests to take advantage of about a 30, 45-minute session. Complimentary. It costs you nothing. It costs you time. All of the stuff I'm talking about today is yours.
I love it.
It's yours.
What about the people that feel like they don't have enough resources at the moment? Like, well, whenever I do buy a home, then I'll look into a trust, or I don't have enough to leave yet, so why should I get a trust?
Everybody has something. Let me tell you guys, I remember this story so clear. I was at a family home.
Mm-hmm.
Their mom had passed on, and they were fighting over a $20 bill. That $20 bill was sacred to their mother, and everybody wanted it. Everybody,
$20 bill?
everybody has something, right?
Wow.
Everybody has something. And if you don't put it in writing, guess what? Anybody can come. Oh, and don't let me forget about parents. You have guardian children. Guess what? You need to have guardianship for your children.
Mm.
Who's going to take care of your children? If you become incapacitated, who makes those decisions on your behalf? We don't think about those things.
Not at all.
We're not thinking.
And everyone wants to live, and it's one thing to be optimistic and positive, but there's another thing to be realistic.
Mhm.
Optimism and then realism.
And I'm a realist.
I'm a realist too.
I
And
break
it's
it down. So
you
some
gotta
people
think
think
about
I'm
those
kind of
things.
tough though, but you know what? When you said about, what about the people who don't have, you do have the money.
Mm-hmm.
How much money did you spend today? Right?
Chick-fil-A, $22.
Oh, Chick-fil-A be killing us, don't they? Chick-fil-A. But you know what? You do have the money. And that's why you sit down with me so I can do a strategy.
Show you
And
that
I
you
need to
have the
show
money.
you that you have it. I need to take you line by line to show you that you can save. Now, I'm a stickler. So, some people ain't ready for me. But I just want you to win, right? You got cable TV and you don't have no savings? Get rid of it. Get rid of it.
So would you consider yourself to be like an accountability partner almost?
Oh,
to
yeah,
some?
absolutely.
Mhm.
Accountability partner, a coach, a mentor. I just want people to win,
Right.
But you have to be ready, and everybody is not ready.
Everybody's
It's
not
it's all
ready.
about timing. But remember, time is money, so you have to take advantage of the time that you have.
I love that. So give me an example of, and you just kind of gave me one with the $20 bill, but do you have an example of a family that someone passed away unexpectedly? They didn't have proper coverage and they were scrambling with GoFundMe's and barbecue plates trying to raise burial money?
Every day, all you
Wow.
got to do is go on GoFundMe.
Mm.
All you got to do is go on social media. And I
Yeah.
tell people it's a sad thing because life insurance is something for every budget. I don't care if it's $20. I don't
Mhm.
care. You may not be a candidate for the IUL. You may have to start. That's what I was telling you. The difference between, let's compare insurance and real estate.
Okay.
Sometimes people have to rent before they buy. It's
Makes
okay.
sense.
Same thing with life insurance. You can rent. But the goal
Makes
is not
sense.
I don't want you to rent forever. I just want you to rent. It's temporary.
So that you're covered in the now and then you switch over when you're
Absolutely.
able.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Absolutely. There's something for everybody. And please, can we educate our youth today? Can we protect our kids? This is a myth. I want you guys to stop saying this. It just drives me crazy. I don't want to put insurance on my kids. Something's going to happen to them. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
That is, it's like they think maybe they're bringing in or welcoming in negative energy because I've put a policy on my kids. That makes no sense.
Let me tell you what wealthy people do, okay? They start their kids at 15 days old. They
Mm.
start funding those policies because they know the bank is not going to give them enough interest. They put that money in. So when we're dropping our kids off to school and you see these kids and they roll up in their Mercedes and their Range Rovers and stuff, let me tell you, that's old money.
Mm.
That's that insurance kind of money.
That part. And so segueing into my next bullet point with
Mhm.
that, do you notice cultural differences with that, right? The kids that do have access to the old money or pulling up in the Mercedes, or they're properly covered, or maybe they've inherited money because dad passed away. What cultural differences do
Absolutely.
you see?
I have seen it. I work in an industry where it used to be predominantly white male, but
Mhm.
now the industry has definitely changed. I know at our organization we have, it's multicultural. I mean, I'm talking about over 100 languages are spoken.
Wow.
Now, I will say this. What I see and what I hear, because my business partners say the same thing, that people in their community do the same thing. They say the same
Mm.
thing.
Okay.
It's just that we're not in there. And what we
Gotcha.
see, guess what? It's portrayed on TV, right?
They
but-
put, yeah.
They put that
Mhm.
narrative out there. But in every community, they experience the same things with trying to get people proper protected, getting people to save more money for their futures, So, but for us, I can tell you, I'm an African American woman. I want anybody that looks like me to be properly protected. I know that how we change the narrative in our community is to make sure that every household is properly protected. Most people either have just insurance on their job, which is not enough, because if you lose your job, you lost your insurance,
Right.
and they do not give you enough. And then guess what? Most other people, they don't have any insurance at all. And then for people who do have insurance, they have the bare minimum, because people are like, oh, I just want to spend $20. Well, $20 is not getting anything. You're 50 years old and you're trying to spend $100 a month. It's not going to happen,
Yeah.
right? So once you're educated and you can make a better decision, then you'll have a better understanding about life insurance, how it works, why the cost of insurance is like that, why you wait so long. That's why I said get it for your kids now. You think
Mhm.
about it. If someone had a child today and they protected that child, even when they get to my age, and I'm proud to say I'm 55 years young.
And beautiful.
Thank you. They're still paying the age of a 15-day-old child.
What?
Yes.
I thought that it just crept up over time.
No.
It stays the same.
So there's different policies, remember. So there's increasing, there's decreasing, but no, insurance has evolved. The times have evolved. Financial products evolve. So the goal now is to find what's best and suitable for your family.
And almost you have to treat paying this insurance bill the same way you would as paying for the roof over your head.
I'm glad you said that. Because why do people say, well, what happened if I don't pay? Well, when you buy your house, you don't never say that. Has
Because
anybody
you don't
ever
have
asked you
the
that much time?
Nope, because you have every intention to pay.
You heard it from the queen herself. Y'all don't ask that about the house. So why y'all keep asking me about this insurance? If you don't pay, you don't get to play.
And now it'll be at the top of your list. This is a necessity. This is not an extracurricular activity or something. This is a necessity.
And stop looking at it as a bill. It's an investment into your future. I tell people, you know what? If I cancel anything, I'd be doggone if I cancel my insurance, because I can walk out of this building, get in my car, and have an accident.
Yep.
But I still have cable. That don't make sense to me.
Makes sense. I love this. So, and that brings me to a thought of, it's one thing to say, okay, fine, you're right, I'll go ahead and get it for myself. But when we talk about protecting your family or the household, what if, you have the 3 kids and a husband and a wife, then that kind of starts to get a little pricey because you need coverage on all. How is that
Again, there's
handled?
something for every budget.
Yeah.
Doing the financial needs analysis will expose to me what you can and cannot afford.
Okay.
I will always do what's affordable and suitable. I can't speak for other agents, but I know for where I am in my organization, we do what's affordable and suitable. Now, let me say this. There's many different ways to design a solution for a family, because I know it can be, but guess what? What's more expensive? You paying for this insurance every month, or you paying for that funeral?
Yikes.
Most people don't have that. If I'm telling you that most people don't have even $1,000 saved for an emergency,
Yeah.
where are they going to get $15,000 to $20,000 to bury a loved one?
And that's the thing too. When you lose a loved one, it's already,
It's a hard time.
it's a hard time, and you want to add to that by trying to figure out how you're going to properly bury them.
Right. That's financial stress.
Mm.
So many people are really experiencing financial stress right now, and there's some solutions. And I think a lot of that will be eliminated with the education.
Okay. So if someone wanted to access tools or videos or education or workshops, do you have a website, or should they schedule an appointment with you? What's your...
All of the above.
Okay.
So first and foremost, I want you to contact me, okay? I want to give you your complimentary copy of this book. It's called Saving Your Future. It's about 88 pages of the basic principles of financial education, right?
Okay.
This book in here is going to tell you all the things you need to know. It's in black and white. See, I don't want you to get this book and put it on the shelf because it collects dust, right? Let me tell you why they put it in the book. Because they know y'all don't read. You have to read the material.
Is swipe social media all day.
All day. So this is going to tell you about the financial foundation, the X curve, all facets of life insurance and insurance, investments, retirement, other solutions like Medicare, long-term care, estate planning, wills and trusts. So this right here, you can get your complimentary copy of this. I'm also going to make sure that you have access to our workshops. We have 6 workshops, really 7 that you can take. teaching you all kind of great stuff from cradle to grave that you need to know, from debt management to proper protection to asset accumulation strategies, your wealth and your health. Oh my God, Social Security. There's so many things that we need to know. And you can contact me on all social media platforms. Of course, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Follow your girl on TikTok.
Hey.
On all of my platforms, even LinkedIn, I am Tony Sanders. You can see me in this green jacket with some gray hair. You know it's me. But yeah, reach out to me. I'd love to give you a complimentary personal financial strategy. That's generally valued at about $500 to $1,000. And you know what? Most people can't even go and get a strategy done because we don't have enough money.
Don't have the money for it.
You have to have at least $250,000 liquid for them to entertain a conversation. Think about when you go to the
Wow.
bank. Have you ever seen the two interests at the bank? Are you going to private banking? Or are you just going to regular?
Regular.
But it doesn't matter, right? I don't care if you have $50 or $50 million. We all need to understand money and how money works. And I want to be a resource and a tool for you to make better financial decisions. That's it.
Amazing. I love it. I love the fact that the key word for me is resource center, right? You're not here to sell them anything, although you have the services and the products that they need. But first and foremost, you're passionate about what it is that you're doing.
Yes.
And education is key. And once you give them the proper education and throw the resources that way, then ultimately you are the professional that they
Absolutely.
that they need.
And if you're looking for an opportunity, your girl's always looking to, train other women, especially in the industry, because we don't have enough, African Americans that are in, the financial service industry. And keep in mind, where money is moved, money is made. And all I do is help you move your money.
Move your money.
Yes.
Listen, y'all better get with Tony. Y'all know, like I know, get with Tony. And I just appreciate your time and your transparency and your ability and willingness to share
Absolutely.
here today. I hope that you guys have gotten some chicken nuggets, some nuggets today with the barbecue sauce from everything that Miss Tony has shared. This is so important to me. That's why I'm seeking to have professionals that can come and help to change and shift your mindset and your perspective and educate you, because you no longer have an excuse. A lot of times we don't do, won't do, haven't done, not considering doing it because we don't know any better.
Yeah.
You can't use that as an excuse.
Right. I
anymore.
always tell people this: the world is not interested in excuses, only results. And so if we're going to change, we have to be the change that we want to see.
Yeah.
So, I want to leave you guys with this. Yes, please reach out to me again on all social media platforms. You can also reach me at info@tonysanders.com, or you can just simply send me a text. I'm a big texter. You can call me, send me a message, 281-898-4018.
And that's Tony with an I.
Yes.
Toni.
I always tell people, Tony with an I is a girl, a Y is a boy.
I love it. Well, as always, you've been amazing.
Oh, thank you.
And hope you guys tune in for our next one. That's our goal here, is just to continue to bring people with value and information to help inspire and help you to elevate yourself and your families. And until next time, I'm your host, Matasha LaQuinn, the Queen Bee of Real Estate, and you've been listening to The Throne. Bye.